Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another film. So those of you that watched my last film will know that I said the next time I see you I'll be heading to the Scottish Highlands, and that's where I am right now. I'm just on the shores of Loch Morlich, and I've been here for about 4 days and spent most of the time actually so far running many of the wonderful trails that this area has to offer, and just taking my time, just sinking into the area and getting to know the place that we're staying a little bit more intimately before I decided to start pressing the record button on the filming. So I've just come out now. It's what time is it? It is, I should have worked that out before, and shouldn't I? 3 o'clock, and sunset is in about an hour and 20 minutes, so I've not a lot of time, but I feel that's plenty enough at this time of day. It's the right end of the day for light to find a couple of nice images. I have got one in mind, I have to say, so I'll get onto that in a little while when I get up to that area. But for now, just going to have a wander along the shoreline and see what I can find. It's bizarre, I've walked along this little section of beach must be a dozen times, and I've not really paid that much attention, and for whatever reason just now they really speak to me. All the tree roots coming down onto the beach are so striking, with all the silvery feel that they've got to the root system in contrast to the sand. And I think with a little bit of time I might just be able to find a composition here somewhere, and that would be a great start to the video, a nice little starting easy shot to get the ball rolling. So having looked up and down for a good few minutes, what I'm finding is that the tree roots on this side, all the sand has washed or been blown from beneath them, and they're standing quite proud of the sand itself. And what I'm looking for is the tree roots to be more on the same focal plane as the sand itself. And what I've seen is that just over here, over to the right hand side, that is exactly what I've been looking for. So I'm going to exclude all these and now look for a more tighter composition over to that side. So typically just at the point of finding my my composition, the rain started to blowing off the loch. So I apologise if we're starting to get spots of rain on the lens there, but I thought it was the best camera angle to really show the composition from the top looking down. So I've got my camera set on 45mm and I'm focusing on just a small area of the roots, and fortunately I've taken the shot because as I speak the rain is hitting the roots now, and where they're getting wet it's darkening the effect, and I really wanted that silvering, which fortunately I have got. But it's not just about the roots, it's about finding a composition that's pleasing, that really hangs as a composition, and it just isn't just a jumble of tree roots. I've done a little bit of tidying up. There were some Scots pine branches that I didn't feel helped. What I have left are the branches that have fallen off that have got lichens on them. I've left those as well. There's scattering of birch leaves which I've left in for the most part, and that's about it. It's just about finding that pleasing composition of the root system, and to me they look like scattered bones on the beach, and I really love that. But I'll just show you the composition now, and I'll show you the key components of the composition, then I'll put the image on. So I'm having to hold the camera up. I can't get the tripod high enough to show the composition on the back of the camera. I don't really want to move it and just show you the finished frame. I want to show you actually in situ. Now you can see that I've got those strong diagonal branches. If you look at the top centre part of the frame up here, I've got these sweeping branches coming down from the centre point that really help to frame the composition. And then the other branches, this one down here crossing over, this one down here crossing over, just sort of serving the purpose as anchor points really within the main composition. My goodness, it's windy. I'm blowing the camera around. So that's basically it in a nutshell. But like I said, they look like bones scattered on a beach. That's the sort of impression I'm getting. But it's a nice starter, even though the wind isn't helping the filming today, and it's absolutely freezing out here. So I'll put that composition on now. Phew, that's better. Bit of shelter. So that last image was taken at f/16, and I actually did do a focus stack of 3 images, one for the near roots, one for the middle, and one for the far roots, because the roots, because of the way that they were growing on the bank, I couldn't get directly above them. I was actually photographing at a slight awkward angle, so I had to focus stack to ensure that everything was sharp front to back. Now, this is a bus stop that I was in probably a couple of days ago now, and I'm always looking for images no matter where I am. We were just waiting for the bus, minding our own business, and I was looking for images whilst I was stood in here. Now, I always maintain that there are images literally everywhere if you care to look for them. Nature is constantly trying to reclaim back our developed landscape, and with that in mind, you should always keep a keen eye out for compositions and where they might really unexpectedly present themselves. Now, people have said to me very often, I live in a place that's full of houses, or it's in the city and there's just no nature around me. Well, just look around and look more deeply at everything around you, and the image I'm going to show you in just a second is a fine example of doing just that. So I'll get the camera up and I'll show you the shot. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So apparently the reindeers are on a training run in advance of Santa collecting them on Christmas Eve. The reindeer centre is just about 300 yards down on the left hand side there, and that's where Santa keeps his reindeers apparently, so there you go. So the shot that I've got lined up is literally on the roof of the bus stop, and you might be able to see from the video camera there that on the roof here we've got some fallen aspen leaves, and they've got some lovely autumn colour. And what's setting the image apart is that on the roof of the bus stop, with it being glass, the water that has landed has created a lovely dippling effect or a stippling effect, and the leaves are just sealed tightly against the glass. And I've arranged the composition so the leaves are on a slight diagonal and positioned them against the canopy of the trees above, and that really helps to pick them out from the background. Now, when I came here the other day, there was a blue sky which was really quite nice, but I haven't got that today. The white sky really doesn't add anything to it, so I've had to position them against, like I say, the canopy. If I was to put them against the white sky, what happens is you get too much contrast. So with going against the canopy, there are some white areas bleeding through the canopy, but because of the depth of field, that's softening quite nicely, and I'm left with a really nice, pleasing shot. In an ideal world, I wish the leaves were a little bit closer together, but nonetheless, it's a really nice composition, and I love the way that the water's rendering on the glass. Really beautiful indeed, and it just goes to show, like I say, images are everywhere if you care to look. I was just minding my own business here, and I just happened to look up, and there they were, and I thought, I'm definitely coming back to this shot. So I'll try and get the camera in now as usual, and I'll try and show you the composition, bearing in mind that I think this is going to be a vertical orientation, whereas at the moment you'll view it as a landscape format. But what a lovely shot, and a really easy one to get. So this is my final composition, really beautiful. So pleased with this considering where I've taken it. So the key components are obviously the leaves are on a diagonal. Like I say, I'll probably put this on a vertical orientation rather than as you're seeing it now on the landscape or horizontal format. All that lovely stippling effect from the water that I mentioned, and the background trees, you've got 2 trees, one there, and you've got those 2 canopies that are just darkening those 2 opposite corners. Now I've tried my best to get the leaves against some of those dark areas to help them pick them out, like I said, to reduce the contrast of the leaves. Had they been against the bright white, they wouldn't have looked quite as striking as they do. I did try that and it didn't work. What I have been sure to do is to make sure that the background where the trees are beyond, I've got a range of tones in the background, so it's not just a a band of, a complete area of white or a complete area of dark. I've got a mixture of different shades of light and dark throughout, because I think that just helps make the composition that little bit more interesting. In terms of settings, I'm on f16. I've not had to focus stack because it's pretty much dead easy and dead flat to the centre plane, this shot. There's nothing complicated about it. Shutter speed is a 30th of a second, and I'm on 100 ISO, so I'll put that image on now. Well, that was fortunate. No sooner had I just got that shot in the bag than the bus stop was overrun by about 6 students waiting for the bus. That would have been really embarrassing. I'm not a fan of filming in front of people, and I might have struggled to finish that little piece to camera had they turned up a couple of minutes sooner. Anyway, I managed to get it done, so it's all good there. So as you can see, I'm on a little woodland path. I'm going to stick to it. This path is about a mile long, and it takes me back to the van. There's only about half an hour's left of light. I think the sun sets in 11 minutes, so there's not much left at all, so it really is fading light. I have been down this path a couple of times this afternoon, and I didn't really see anything, but I always maintain that different times of day, different times of year, different light always present different opportunities. And I was walking through at quite a bit of pace today. It was on a walk with Ruth and the dog Willow, so I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I'm sure I'll find something between here and the van. I mean, there's literally a mountain ash leaf just underneath the video camera there with water droplets on. It's begging to be photographed, but I've done that sort of thing before, so I'm going to leave it alone. So 1 mile's worth of track. Who knows what just might show up. So it's going very, very dark, very, very quickly. So I'm going to have to be really fast at this. These trees behind me are trees that I did see on the walk today, and I wasn't going to bother with them, but because the light is failing so fast, I feel under pressure to get something. I didn't want to resort back to close-up stuff because I do find that really easy, and I wanted something a little bit more challenging for the end of the day. This may or may not work, but I'll just briefly tell you what strikes me about it. You've got these rushes in the foreground. These are soft rushes, and behind you've got tufted hairgrass, the last of the stems, the flowering stems all sticking up, and you've got this band of dark and then band of light, and then you've got the trees behind. These are big old alders. And I just like the way that the shapes of the trees are leaning out from one another, really interesting. What I've got to be really careful of is that I exclude the sky. I'm not sure right here, right now, whether by excluding the sky, whether there's enough interest in the trees, but it's experimentation, and like I say, I'm running out of light, so anything is better than nothing at this stage in the game, and I think this is probably going to be my closing shot for this evening. So I'm going to go for f11. Because of this frame, it does show the sky on, but I'm going to crop that out in post. I'm underexposing by a stop. Just focus that in. In terms of images of trees, it's not overly complex. It's pretty flat, certainly not three-dimensional. It's not one of those images that holds your interest for many hours gazing at the different aspects of it, but the composition really does seem to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus just in front of the trees, So I'm going to do my best to talk you through the composition. It's really difficult to reach and I can't video through this camera, but as you can see I'm on f11, 100 ISO and a 3-second exposure, quite a long exposure. But as I say, you can see the greens. Every time I put my finger in it, goes out of focus. You can see the greens on the right hand side of the mosses on that tree there, and similarly on the left hand side, this tree here, you see the mosses there picking up. There's the band of pale that I like and the band of dark that I like. Now hopefully by cropping in on the top I don't lose too much of the interest, but it will be round about there I expect. So this is my 85 to 160mm lens, and I'm about 135 in terms of focal length, but that's not really critical in this instance. I'm just at the correct distance for the composition, and fortunately that is within the range of focal range that I carry. So I'll put that image on now.
Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Images to come in just a second. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to press the like button, and if you want to see more you can always subscribe to the channel. It costs nothing to do that. Leave some comments, let me know what you think of today's images, and if you want to support the channel more you can always become a member. You can do that by joining YouTube or Patreon for as little as 99 pence per month. So until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.